the water. So what was the definition of a PMO in PMBOK 4 or 5 was a permanent staff position, okay?
Establishing rules.
That supports projects, programs, potentially portfollios, right? And has a wide spectrum. It was basically
standards,
it was the equivalent of a department. I have to be very careful to say that.
No.
A quasi-department for project management. That's what a PMO was. And unfortunately...
and there was still discussions, are like the project managers employed by the PMO or by the department or...
And I'm going to tell you something. This is my conspiracy theory. I think that the people who came up with those two words sacrificed the word project office because they had executive pushback from potential clients.
Yeah.
Who said, screw that, I don't want order. I don't know how many clients who deliver their products and services in form of a project complain about when they get a request for proposal and they make a bid and they break down the costs and they put in there 15% for project management or consulting. The client says, why am I paying for this?
Yeah, it must be done anyway.
Yeah, because just do it, right?
Yeah.
Which is BS.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, so let's continue with the PMO and then we'll get back to the success thing because that's a hot one too. We in the last 20 years, we've actually given awards to company who were Vorreiter, we say in German, people who were ahead of the game, who created large PMOs. Siemens was a good example of this, right? They actually practice portfolio management. They know how many projects they have in their portfolio. They have KPIs. They have education program that's in line with it over 3 different levels. They have categories for their projects. You can't be the project manager of an A project, which is the highest form, unless you have this internal education or certification. So very, very structured. But let me ask you, I have seen a lot of PMOs not really disappearing completely, but being renamed. What's your experience? Are PMOs dying?
PMOs are dying in terms of the term PMO, but they're not dying as a strategic staff unit, as a, however you call it, different names on not only establishing project management standards, also making sure that strategies are implemented in practice, also making sure that the organization goes towards the right direction. And then the project management is like a little method and tool to make sure that those strategies can be implemented.
You know what I'm hearing? And I think we don't talk about this enough. I think there's a love-hate relationship to projects in organizations.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a love-hate relationship.
Sure.
And screw the matrix organization. Most of you guys don't know what a matrix organization is. You claim to be a matrix organization, but at your core, at your cultural core, as long as your executives get their paycheck from the line organization, which cultural basis is legitimate, is based on hierarchy, on I'm in charge, shut up and listen, follow my orders, just do it, okay? And don't bother me with the operational crap. As long as you have that culture, okay? You're not a matrix organization.
No, far away.
You are a weak matrix organization that tolerates project culture when
only if necessary.
When the doo-doo is hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Right? I love to use, and I've done this a couple times in my podcast, I love to use the example, big organizations are like armies. For them to be effective, they have to be structure, order, uniformity, processes, rules, regulations, punishments, all that kind of stuff. And shut up and listen. Hurry up and wait. And don't question the people above you. What large organizations like IBM, when Lou Gerstner wrote the book Dancing, what was the book called? Something with Dancing with Elephants or something, Elephants Dancing, where he was talking about IBM not being agile enough. He said elephants have to learn how to dance. Large organizations have to have at least the semblance of agility if they want to be competitive over long. Otherwise, it's going to be like the Armada. Small ships are going to shoot you down and replace you. I think that having been said, project teams are for emergencies, for complex things, for things where a lot of things could go wrong. People could theoretically die, or I could lose a lot of money, or I could lose face. And I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I want it to happen fast. So what I do is I don't take somebody from senior management because they might want my job, right? So what I do is I take somebody from middle management who's like a young puppy who's wagging their tail and says, please give me a chance, throw me a bone. And you give them impossible constraints and they say, oh yeah, I'm just so happy that I can talk to you and you're giving me the time of day. And then we have this Prügelknabe or this whipping boy principle that we give them all these stupid ideas. I'm exaggerating here, so bear with me. And if they fail, I wash my hands in innocence. And I said, oh my God, this guy sucked, right? I didn't support him. I made all the decisions.
But nevertheless,
it's the puppet principle. It's like you have puppets and the puppet is moving and talking. And then the puppet says something inappropriate, right? And the audience says, oh my God, did you hear what the puppet said? And then you take the puppet off your hand, you throw it on the ground, you stomp on the puppet. It's a bad puppet. I'm sorry, the puppet does not work without the hand up. It's I'm being very direct here. So I think, if you're going to use an analogy, I think that project teams are like special forces. The SAS or the Special Forces or SEAL Team 6, all this hype. And there's a huge hype, a cultural hype. Everybody admires them. These
might be a task force.
Macho, tattooed, muscular men who just, who are Rambos, and they get, and everybody loves it. Generals love it. Executives love this concept. But this is something I truly believe, and I actually have some military experience with the Austrian Army, with the American Army. I've actually had discussions with officers who are in the classical line organization of the military, and if you ask them what they think about special forces, the first couple sentences will be complimentary. They say, "Ooh, they're great. You can send them out. They're tough. They get the work done." But if you look at midterm, long term, they find them to be highly suspicious.
Okay, why is that?
Because for them to be successful, they have to know the rules and break the rules.
Okay.
But when their mission is done and they come back and they dress sloppy, they look like Talibans because they have beards, or they don't follow orders and they ask questions. By the way, you know what one of the number one principles of one of the most powerful special forces in the world, SAS, was founded, one of their founding principles were, if you can't think outside the box and when you hear an order, if you don't ask questions, why the hell we are doing it, you don't belong here. And that is a violation of classical line organizations or hierarchical thinking.
Just follow the order.
Shut up and listen. And there's a justification for it, but not in complex situations. So I think that the reason why PMOs, there's two reasons why PMOs, or several reasons. So I'll go through the reasons why I think PMOs. Number one, I think they're dying because they don't have clear sponsorship. And that sponsor, if it's a senior vice president who protects it and makes sure it has a mandate, you use the great word mandate. After 3 years, you have musical chairs and that guy moves somewhere else. And now the PMO has a new person who doesn't know what a PMO is. First reason. Second reason, I think they interfere with, in German we say the Befindlichkeiten, with the emotions of executives. We like them, but we don't like them. Yeah. They question us. They could theoretically embarrass us and make us look bad. Third reason is because the key word that everybody uses and nobody really understands is the word integration. PMOs cannot function by not, I don't think the word interfering is the right word, but getting involved in processes that are originally not theirs. Because you have to delve into, like, for example, finance manager. A CFO will say, what are you, that's mine, shut up. I calculate. Yeah. Right? So risk manager, there's a risk manager, quality managers, right? Line managers do a lot of the other stuff. A lot of people say, you know what, for the fact that you're not a full-blown legitimate department that has a fixed budget, lots of resources, and representations on all levels of the hierarchy, you have a lot of power. And you're taking, theoretically, I think the emotion could be, you're taking that power away from me. If you're doing it and you're doing it successful, it makes me look bad.
Yeah, so where's the future going? Because we both know, like, PMI is starting a huge campaign now on PMO. There are
which I think is great. I think it's great. I think the movement around,
it's great. Yeah.
It's late, but it's